coming up on this week's episode of the HCA Tech Talk podcast.
When a client sort of says to you about, okay, what do we go with, a cinema room or a media room? What do you sort of say to them to explain the difference between the two? And I mean, this was hundreds of thousands of pounds worth of speakers.
It's a huge difference. So if you've got a nice big TV, you want a nice big sound as well. So that's being compressed, which is what you get with Amazon or Netflix. It's always compressed compared to Kaleidescape or a physical media disc. But yeah, that's going to make a massive difference.
Clients who've got fortunate have got both. You know, we've put a good system in there, sort of like a family room. So, you know, they might be running a 7.2.2, so 7 speakers around them, 2 speakers in the ceiling, 2 subwoofers, and it sounds really good.
Thinking of building your dream home cinema? Don't know where to start? Start with the HCA. At the Home Cinema Alliance, we connect homeowners with the very best in the business. Our members are trusted designers, installers, and technology experts who know how to turn any room into a breathtaking cinematic experience. Whether you're building from scratch or converting a spare room, our members are here to help you every step of the way. Visit our website to find your local member at homecinemaalliance.co.uk.
Hi, and welcome to episode 8 of the HCA Tech Talk podcast. I'm your host, as always, Stuart Burgess, and here again with me is Simon Gregory.
Good afternoon, Stuart.
So we are back at Pulse.
We are indeed.
We haven't actually moved.
No, I've got a bit more of a tan this time.
You've been on holiday,
I've been away
haven't
for
you?
a couple of weeks, and
Yeah.
we're back on it. And end of the summer is nearly upon us, but exciting times. I think lots of new products are coming out as well. So looking forward to September getting going, the real season kicking off before the Xmas.
Yeah, and we've literally just done a podcast before this one with David Merowitz from Trinov, and we talked about CEDIA in Denver, which is a trade show that's coming up in September, where we alluded to some new products that are coming out. So this podcast is due to come out on the 26th of August, I think. So like and subscribe, because the Trinov one will be coming up before the charity bike ride we discussed. And there are some exciting new products from Trinov in that, which is very exciting.
Very exciting.
Yeah,
keep quiet, some exciting stuff, but all that's going to be announced at Denver. So yeah, if you can get to that trade show, then great. But if not, stay tuned and find out about the latest.
Yeah, well, we're obviously. I'm still toying. You're not, but we'll make sure it gets on the podcast, and I'll make sure I put it on HCA's social media about any announcements, bits and pieces that come from a show. So briefly, because I think we're trying to get a shorter episode done today, because you've got some parental duties to deal with.
Yes.
So what have you been working on? Obviously, you're not really working on anything because you've been on holiday. But what have you been working on, or what projects you got going on at the moment?
So we've got the Lutron RA3 project coming along nicely. So that is going to be starting after the bank holiday, so towards the end of the month. So 26th, I think that's going to be starting. So all that's been ordered. Client's happy to go ahead with that. So that's all done. Electricians on board.
There was a funny comment on one of the viewers put up on a short that I put out, because obviously, if you look at the HCA socials, I like to put out the podcast, but then I like to shorten it, just like clips and everything. And I put one up of us talking about RAW 2, RAW 3, centralized lighting. And this viewer went, I watched the whole of the 60 seconds. I didn't understand a word you were saying. Were you actually speaking English?
Sometimes we speak a different language, in the
tech.
AV industry, but Lutron lighting, RAW 2, RAW 3, or Homeworks. Yeah.
Great for SEO.
So
as well.
we are. The house wasn't quite ready or quite big enough for Homeworks, and obviously the expense was taken into consideration. So we went for the RA3 system that's coming out. So yeah, we've got blinds going in there and curtains and RGB tunnable lighting as well. So that's all being ordered and delivered this week, I believe.
Oh, and then you entered the Smart Building Awards.
Yes, so Smart Building Awards, we entered our Tudor building project that we did. So We've done the whole house entry. So that's got...
What's that, whole house?
Whole house. So what we did with that, was a home, basically a media room with a whole house audio. So that was just been run by HEOS. We also had blue stream into the 8 different rooms for audio and video, sorry. And then we also had Unify Wi-Fi going throughout the whole house. Okay. But so it's a nice little whole house project. And we also entered the media room only for the Tudor building into the under £50,000 category for a media room. So again, that's got lovely Amina speakers in there, nicely hidden away, lovely bespoke cabinetry work in the media wall. Yeah, it looks really nice.
So Smart Building Awards, for anybody who's not in the industry, is an award ceremony that's put on the evening between the 2 days of Essential Install Live down in Farnborough.
Yeah, it's a trade show that we have down in Farnborough, so everybody comes to that, and yeah, in the evening there's a
big dinner.
Yeah, big dinner and get together, and yeah, it's a really good evening. So fingers crossed.
You're judging this year, not your own category, mate.
Not my own category, definitely not. So that's definitely not allowed. So no, we're just doing different categories that we've been given. So
I think I'm doing 3, which I think I've got all manufacturer categories this year, which is great because it shows some love for the manufacturers. But I like seeing the projects as well. I don't think I've got a single project one, which is a bit,
and some of them look really good. So we're looking forward to going through those and judging those towards the end of the month.
Excellent. I'm still doing my Beckenham cinema.
Still going?
I've had 2 weeks off. Our little one had to have a hernia operation. I say little one, she's nearly 15.
Yeah, exactly.
She's nearly as tall as me. But so we had a couple of weeks off just to get that done and dusted. And so she goes to school, starts her GCSEs. But that's sort of growing more and more. You know, the whole room's nearly buttoned up, and I get not buttoned up from a construction point of view. And then the client messages me and says, what about putting a PlayStation in the room? Like, well, yeah, I can, but it means I've got to take all the plasterboard down out there, take down the OSB off the wall in here, but it's still doable. Do you want to do it?
Not always easy. But,
so I'm back there next Tuesday after our bank holiday, and I've got to run 2 15-metre fibre HDMIs from our good friends at HDA 1AV. So he can put a PlayStation and an Xbox under there, where in his own words, I've not played a console in about 15 years.
Wow. Might have the PlayStation 6 out by then, never know.
Maybe. So hopefully, well, it's better to get it in there.
100%.
While we can still take the plasterboard off the wall.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
We're going to get in there, but we've had to order some more of Roddy's space frame.
From Cinema Build Systems.
Yeah, from Cinema Build Systems, who's got a wonderful new wonderful new manufacturing facility in trying to think now, Scotland. I can't remember where else. But he's building that at the moment.
That looks very impressive. Look forward to seeing the progress on that, and obviously for the Cinema Build screens, which we use the phenomenal screens. So
I think it's screens, isn't it? I think it's what Michael does up there. So so we've got a bit more of the coffered ceiling to do, and the walls have got quite an intricate detail of sort of fabric panel to hide the speaker. Then there's a wooden section with a light in it, and then around the whole room. It's going to be a stunning room, no doubt whatsoever.
Look forward to seeing that.
So that's about it. So we'll jump into the news. Before I jump into the news, please don't forget to like and subscribe to the podcast wherever you watch this or listen to this. For audio podcasts, you could also text the show. We've got a new feature. So within the audio podcast, and I think the link is also on the video podcast, you can click on the link and you can send a text to the show so you can ask your questions if you have any of us. Obviously, for the video podcast, you can comment in the section below, and we'll try and answer as many questions as we have. If you've got any suggestions of topics we discussed and products you might want us to look at and talk about, and then you can also support the podcast now. And in a return for the support of the podcast, we'll give you a shout out.
That's what it's all about. Good old shout out.
We're getting anything from 1,000 to 5,000 views on most of the podcasts. And the analytics on YouTube, even though this is episode 8, I can see it slowly going up. So if you fancy a shout out on the podcast, follow the link, make a small donation, which helps us pay for petrol and all this lovely camera equipment that you never get to see.
Helps us to get here as well.
Well, it helps me to get here, an hour and 45 minutes again. Please support the podcast. We love doing it, and we'd love to hear from you guys as well if you're enjoying watching it.
Most definitely.
Or we're just talking to ourselves. So jumping into the news, first news subject is with you, Simon, about Acoustic.
Yep, so Danish loudspeaker manufacturer Acoustic have introduced some new subwoofers. So hot off the press, they are the 212 and the 312. subwoofers. So we were at the showroom not too long ago and did a little tour of the showroom facility over in Chelmsford.
Video still to come. Apologies. Video still to come.
Video is still to come, but I mean the showroom sounded phenomenal then. So that's with their older subs. So the newer subs have been redesigned. They've got an ARTC 12i 19mm driver. So they use a 12-inch long throw subwoofer. So I think they will sound really impressive, and look forward to hearing those. But
and are they a replacement for the sub 2s and sub 3s, I assume?
Yeah, so they're the new versions of those. So I think they are available now. So we've got a project starting, I believe, in January. So we'll have those ready to go in that project. So that will be pretty special. But yeah, look forward to hearing those.
Well, I suppose if anybody wants to hear them, then reach out to either myself or Simon.
Yep.
And then we can arrange for you to go to the facilities not too far from here.
Nope.
In Chelmsford.
Or speak to Acoustic. They will contact their local dealer to you and arrange a demonstration to me. But they are all over the country, so they're dealers. So any dealers.
Well, and they've got a good showroom base out there in respects. I mean, our showroom used to be Acoustic before we moved. I know friends of ours have got acoustic showrooms and that. So there are, if you don't happen to be in this area of Essex, then there are showrooms across the UK that have acoustics, and I assume that some of them will be eager to put this new product in so they can sell it.
Yep, no, definitely. So looking forward to hearing those. So the subs go down to 25 hertz, so that's pretty impressive. So
I mean, I've put sub 3s in a project about a year or so ago, and those things rock. I mean, with that scene out of Dune, where they're trying to pick up the people, rescue the people.
There's a great demo scene for everybody to use, and it really does push the subs. But if they can go down to 25 hertz, then very impressive indeed. So you can never have too many subs. That's for sure. The more the merrier. So
I think as Paul said, that scene is what they call a speaker killer.
Yeah, no, it is indeed. So exciting stuff.
Awesome. So my first news story is a new Epson projector, the EHLS 9000, which is a 4K home cinema projector. This is sort of like, if anybody knows projectors and knows of the projector world from before with Epson, this is sort of about the same sort of price of what we used to have the 9400, which was a projector that I used a lot and have a lot on projects. It's got a retail price of a penny shy of 3,000.
I would go for 2,995 is what I think they'll come out of that. So probably. So it sounds a bit better than £3,000 RRP.
Yeah.
But
£2,999.99 is what our friends at Inside CI have got listed on their website.
Always sounds a lot better than the bigger number. But great, fantastic projectors. Obviously laser base as well, so that's going to be really good. You've got your 20,000 hours durability, so it's quite a long time. But what is also quite sad is the end of the 9400, as you mentioned. It's, if there was a Hall of Fame, the 9400 would definitely go in there. It's been out for like 5-6 years, 6-7 years.
Insert violins now. Let's have a silent moment of peace for the 9400.
I've lost track the amount of 9400s we've sold, amount they've sold. It was a great projector. It just worked. It's, I think, 6-7 years it's been out because it's don't fix what's not broken. So
I think we had
kept it going.
We had a 9400 in the showroom before we put a Sony in there, and the difference between the 9400 and the Sony 590, I think it was there, but wasn't as much as I thought it was going to be. But it was great because we had a scope screen in there, and the lens shift on it, which this one has, was brilliant. So swapping from 235 content. So going from scope content to regular widescreen content was just a matter of a press of a button, or if it was in a control system, did it automatically.
It's a very, very versatile projector. I always described it as brighter than the sun because the picture is so vibrant and so bright. It was great for watching movies. But also great for sports as well. So you can have the windows open, have the curtains open, and still quite clearly see the image that was being displayed on the screen.
Yeah, I mean, we did a couple which had ambient light rejecting drop-down screens, so like a dual-purpose media room, cinema room. Yeah. Brings us on to our topic of the month we're going to do soon. And I mean, bifold doors all the way along here with an ambient light projected screen. yeah, it was a phenomenal picture for everyday
The
view.
lumens on this 2,200, I believe. So that's pretty impressive, I
yeah.
think, for an entry level laser projector.
Yeah, and a startup time of around about 8 seconds as well, which is brilliant because I know one thing I wanted to do in the old showroom was if a client walked in, they picked up one of my many Xbox controllers, pressed the Nexus button to turn the system on via HDMI control, and then that would fire the projector up. The problem was it took about 30 seconds for the projector to fire up, and that sort of took the edge off of that theatre of starting it up by pressing the Nexus
Does a
button.
little bit, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So we've got a Sony 5000, and that takes a little while to start up. I have to say, it kind of ruins the illusion in our demo facility. But
and also, hopefully, if it has a close down, turn off time of similar, if you're using a trigger from the projector, so quite often within Control 4 or something like that, what we've done is go, when the projector turns on, drop the screen. If it's in a media room, or when the projector turns off, put the screen up. And obviously, if it's got a slow start up or slow shut down time, it often the on command and the off command don't happen until right at the end of the sequence. So you find that the projector's on and showing you an image, and the screen is still coming down. So,
which is not particularly seamless, is it? So we had an incident where we turned the projector off because it was cooling down. The screen stayed down, but the client wanted it to go up.
Yeah.
So we had to use a control system. So actually we use RTI to control the screen trigger mechanism separately, because we had a cable going up, a spare cat cable going up to where the projector was. So instead of relying on the projector, we used the RTI. So as soon as that censored that it wasn't getting power, the screen went up while the projector was still cooling down. So made it much more fluid.
Excellent. Right, next story, monitor audio for you.
Yes, so Monitor Audio, which are based in Southend, Rayleigh to be precise.
Following that, another Essex company.
Another Essex company, but we like Monitor Audio, and they've got a limited edition Silver Series 7G. So what caught my eye was the fact it's carbon black metallic.
Ooh.
I had a sleeker car, GT car, and that was black, and I loved it. It had the big spoilers at the back, and anything that's metallic black I really like. So they've got the new Silver 300 and the 107G, which is now available limited edition. It doesn't say how many limited edition it is, but it's in carbon black metallic. So have a look out for that.
They got pricing on them, or
no pricing? No, but if you want a metallic black speaker and pricing is not an option, an issue, then go have a look. Speak to Monitor Audio, based in Rayleigh in Essex.
I'm not even going to look at them.
Don't look at them because you want to buy them.
And because you know what I'm like. I'm bad enough.
You are bad enough.
I'm bad enough with Xbox controllers.
The Silver 300 7G, so I just read off this website. Limited edition floor standing speaker is designed for those who demand both high performance audio and timeless aesthetics. Finished in the exclusive carbon black metallic, it exudes sophistication while delivering breathtaking clarity, depth, and power.
Wow. Sign me up.
Sign you up, you're there.
Michael, if you're watching, send me some. Still haven't got the Kef soundbar, Ron. But no, I'm going to have a look at these. I mean, we do need to get up to Monitor Audio. I've actually been talking to them recently. Maybe we'll go up and do the next podcast from there.
They're going to do a new demo facility to complement their factory and their facilities down in Rayleigh. So looking forward to seeing those.
But yeah, limited edition. So if you are a Monitor Audio fan, then do reach out, and we might be able to get you there to listen to them, or get you somewhere to listen to them, type of thing. Awesome. So my next story is on a system called Freely. So I thought this one was quite interesting. Although not directly cinema based, although it is a video source. So Freely, for anybody who doesn't know, is a platform which is backed by the BBC, ITV, Channel 4, Channel 5. And it's been like, so you remember, or not remember because it's still going. So you got Freeview and FreeSat.
Yes.
Freeview via an aerial, FreeSat via a dish, which are great. But obviously with Sky pushing more towards Sky Stream and Sky Glass, they're going IP based. And obviously satellite dish installers, unfortunately, are getting less and less and less. the same with aerial installers, because everybody rushed to get aerial done for the digital switchover, and this is an IP based system. So this is your, for want of a better way, your Freeview FreeSat system, but actually coming in on an IP based platform. However, what it has been is been very limited to TVs, but at the more consumer friendly end.
Right.
So if I remember rightly, I don't think it's got it on Steve May's article, but from what I've seen, it was just the brands of TV like Hisense, Bush, some of the more budget range TVs. Not saying they're not good TVs, but budget range TVs. So you had to buy a TV to get the service. But now what they've just announced is that they're actually going to release a plug-in streaming device by Puck. So hopefully what that means is the 40 live channels, including BBC iPlayer, ITVX, Channel 4, My5, You, Watch, and PBS America, to name a few. A bit like Sky Stream, it will be a box we'll be able to plug in, and we'll be able to get it via IP.
So I wonder how that compares to like Now TV.
Well, Now TV is Now TV is a subscription based. This is free.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this is
can you get subscription services on there?
Don't think so.
Do you have to have Now TV for getting Sky Sports, etc., and then freely for free stuff? I would assume.
Yeah, so I think the idea of Freely is basically, as it does in the name, the same as Freeview and FreeSat, is that it's your old-fashioned terrestrial TV, but it's just as an IP platform. Now, is it
replacing TVs that haven't got that interface?
I'm not sure whether the boxing. So within the interface of the TVs, it's just a way to get. Do you know if you buy like an LG TV, you get LG channels?
Yeah.
It's your Freely channels as part of the streaming services on that TV. So on the said TV, you'd get the ability to download the streaming services like Netflix, Prime, and things like that. On the Puck, there is nothing to say on here. I don't think that, from what I can see, that it is going to be. You're going to allow to put services on there like Netflix next to it, but I can't see why they wouldn't. But for me, I think it's beneficial in two ways. One, it gives you the ability to give another room or another media room or another cinema. I mean, this is really early, so we don't know about sound from it. We don't know if it's good.
Yeah, I wonder if HDMI 2.1, 4K, just 1080p maybe.
I think it's
licensing would probably play a big issue with the cost of it for Netflix and Amazon, etc. Any streaming services that they wanted to put on there, it's probably a licensing.
Yeah, I think because it's a free to air platform. I think that obviously it's being made will be potentially at a price point that will basically is just to give you channels on that TV. Personally, what I'd love to see is I'd love to see them. They've come here, and I'd love to see this from Sky as well. Is actually let's just put it through an app. Let's do a Freely app. Let's do a Sky Stream app, because a lot of us, including me, have a Apple TV 4K, and I always get the new one when it comes out. And I have Sky Q, but I didn't have Sky Q for a few weeks. Sky kept on messing around, sending me out a new box, and I just got so used to using the streaming services that I did think about cutting the cord for a while. And for me, what I'd love is that I had my Apple TV. On my Apple TV, I had my premium services, your Netflix and your Apple TV Pluses. But then I also had my Freely app. So actually, in like my daughter's bedroom, where she doesn't really watch live TV, we could put the Freely app on her Apple TV, and that way she could watch YouTube, but she could also go over and watch one of the free-to-air channels as well. So I think it's great because now you can get an LG G5 and a Freely box, and actually get your free-to-air platforms as well as smart services built into the TV. You don't need an aerial or satellite dish anymore, just a good broadband.
Yeah, I think once the end user gets used to doing that, the streaming of terrestrial television, so the same as you, I sort of stopped Sky for a little bit, but and if you had the streaming services for BBC iPlayer, ITVX, 4 and 5, it's just getting used to that rather than the convenience of pressing it on your TV or on Sky, for instance. But if you have like Now TV as well, I think there's a cost-effective side of that for doing the sports subscriptions, which I think a lot of people are doing now as well. So it's a mixing it up a little bit rather than having all your eggs in one basket, i.e. Sky or Virgin or whatever. I think mixing it up nowadays can save you quite a bit of money. But say with that Freely unit, then it's probably easier to use for a lot of people, I would say, because if BBC iPlayer, you go onto it and then you've got programs that you can watch, but then it's like, okay, where's the live TV? I want to watch live TV. Then you have to try and find the live TV section and how do I get the subtitles on?
And I noticed the other day, I've got 2 Hisense TVs in the gym at the office, and I use them so like I could be using Swift on the bike and the TV's playing. So I'm cycling along to my little avatar, especially for the London bike ride just recently, or we're going to do recently.
September the 14th, not long to go.
And but I quite like having the TV on. But what I noticed just recently is that like the Channel 4 app on there, because it was the app built into the TV, you couldn't stream live TV. However, that's just recently been changed on these Hisense, because if I went to my Apple TV, I could stream live TV, but it was almost like they were going, if the Channel 4 app is on a TV that can get live TV, they weren't giving the live TV ability on the app to be able to watch live TV. We've done live TV a few more times.
Yeah.
And it was really annoying because I would want to watch live TV on these monitors, technically, that are not connected to anything apart from an Apple TV or its own inbuilt services. I do hope, Apple do a great thing on their Apple TV boxes, which I really wish more services would come to, where they do like the My TV section of the Apple TV.
Yeah, it's nice.
And it tells you what you were watching, like on iPlayer, on Channel 4, on Sky. But annoyingly, people like Netflix have not opted into it. And I think more people who are, as the Americans termed years ago, cutting the cable. I went upstairs the other day to bed and my wife was watching something called ITVX. And I went, we got Sky again. The box has come and I put it in this morning. She went, I just got used to it.
Yeah.
But then like this morning when I got up at 5 o'clock, I went downstairs, didn't really fancy watching the news. I ended up watching DMAX and discovering Alaska and building houses in Alaska. I was just having a coffee, doing some work.
There's a lot of weird and wonderful things on, especially at that time in the morning.
So that, for the moment, that's why I don't think I could get rid of Sky.
No.
Because I do like to be able to put it on. And I know Sky Q does give you the GUI, but as Simon, who works with both of us, says it can be a bit clunky, a bit flippy, a bit laggy.
Yeah.
And then the other thing, I just could briefly touch on, congratulations to Kef for getting a 5 out of 5 rating from What Hi-Fi on the aforementioned a few weeks ago soundbar.
Yeah, we spoke about that. That was getting hot off the press, so newly launched, and I think that's got a nice 5-star review, which again sounds phenomenal. So they really liked it. So yeah.
Still haven't heard it. Annoyingly, I did when my daughter went into hospital the other day, and we were waiting. Part of me was hoping that my wife had to wait with her because we were told only one parent was allowed in the hospital. Annoyingly, they let both in because it was only at Buckingham Palace, and I could have quickly, if they were like,
got in.
Sorry, sir, only one. Oh, well, have the mother, and the mother, is better to be with the daughter. I'll go and waste some time, and I was going to nip up to Kev, but annoyingly, they let me in, which was great for my family.
Yeah,
but not that I still haven't got to see.
Come on, hurry up.
Yeah. So, but I will get to see it as I am very, very interested in it from a musical point of view as well as from a theatrical point of view.
Yeah, I think the bass levels from it as well, according to the review, was pretty impressive. So the best they've heard.
And was that with the sub? Because I know you can add a wireless sub to it.
Didn't imply it was with the sub,
right,
but that kind of does make sense, to be honest. But it did say that it was from the standalone unit, it was pretty impressive. So, but you can obviously add the sub for bigger rooms, I think is what it said.
Yeah, I've got a client that's got some EOS in, and he's having some issues with it. It's a job that we inherited. I don't like the word takeover. It's a job we inherited. And the problem is that they built the cabinetry for the same size as the products they were putting in, which is, for me, a massive no-no. So i.e., the slender EOS soundbar, that just fits in there, and there literally isn't a gap on the bottom of it. So I'm hoping that I can get one of the Kef ones in there, adapt it ever so slightly, because this cabinetry cost an absolute fortune.
You've got to be careful with that kind of thing. It may look nice, but if you need to change anything at the end or a later date, if products go wrong, then you're running into some trouble.
Which our friends at Cinema Lux are very good at doing. Which when this podcast comes out, that one probably went live a couple of weeks ago, which is actually going live tonight as we record this. So I'll sit down with Darren from Cinema Lux and discussing about working with clients like yourself and like me to build these phenomenal rooms for discerning clients and create these amazing spaces.
Yeah, they create beautiful bespoke cinema rooms. So yeah, that's why we work with those guys.
Beautiful cabinetry, accent detailing, and then we come in and put the tech in, and it's all a lovely room. Seamless integration. Okay, so right, let's quickly move on to the topic of the month. So the topic of the month I just wanted to briefly touch on, which was like dedicated cinema room versus media room. Now, not necessarily versus, because I think versus puts not like you're pitting the two between each other. But for me, a dedicated cinema room is exactly that. It's a room which is dedicated, sometimes without windows, without many doors apart from the one that comes in and goes out, and it's a space purely for watching content, quite often cinema content, and basically it is a room that is fabric walls treated, high-end system, cinema seats, where potentially a media room is more of that, like we touched on with the Epsom story, which is more of the room which is more lifestyle. It's taking elements from the cinema, but putting it more into a lounge, a family space. In your 26 years in this industry, when a client sort of says to you about, okay, what do we go with, a cinema room or a media room? What do you sort of say to them to explain the difference between the two, and how although they're not two different separate things, they accumulate, so you take elements from both to put into the other.
For us, the process for a cinema room specifically is more involved with the client, because you're doing a dedicated room, so a disused room, any unloved room. You've got a blank canvas, so you can talk to the client, understand what kind of fabrics they want, what wood paneling they want, whether they want a stretched wall system, and you can understand their needs and requirements a little bit more, because you're understanding how they want to use the room, but also how they want the room to look. Now, with a living room, or media room, sorry, it generally is a multi-purpose room. So it is a living room as well. You can generally have a sofa in there. You don't need that wow factor for that media room. For a cinema room, especially a bespoke cinema room, the clients and the relatives and friends will want to go in there and go, wow, that looks pretty good. You also want that with a media room, don't get me wrong, but I think when you have a dedicated room, getting that wooden paneling in there, getting everything nice and bespoke, and getting it how the client wants it is paramount, and I think that makes a big difference. So that's the biggest difference is in terms of that room. It's having a dedicated room, and if they want to watch the movies in there, they're not really interested in watching sport as much, or playing games, as you mentioned earlier, the games consoles, then that would be more for a media room.
Yeah, I think, I concur. I think like when we've done like the job we're doing in Beckenham at the moment, that is a dedicated cinema room. Yes, it's using a 16:9 screen, but it's got, I think it's 10 seats on step levels. The intricate work we're doing on the walls at the moment using suede fabric with the speakers recessed behind it, coffered ceiling. We're not going to put starlight in, that might go in the future, but it is a very dark room. And the screen is always there. Okay, you could do the deco screen like you've got next door here, but it is a room which is predominantly for enjoying entertainment, whereby you're shutting the door. It's got that better ambient noise in there, so you can slap your hands together. You don't get that echoiness, if I can say it, that you get in a media room. Where if I think to like the job we did in Merton that I talked to earlier, that was a dual base screen. So they had a TV. I mean, this client had a 7.4.4 Meridian system using a set of DSP 8000s as front speakers. I mean, this was hundreds of thousands of pounds worth of speakers and equipment, Trill Altitude 82. But he had a 65-inch, 55-inch TV on the wall, and then he had a 100-inch screen that dropped down in it. And yeah, you couldn't say it's not a cinema
No.
because it is better than some people would have in their cinema room.
But you've always got compromises. So
Yeah.
with living rooms and media rooms, you've got more compromises. With a dedicated cinema room, compromises should be kept to the absolute minimum.
Yeah.
If you shouldn't have any compromises at all, in theory, but not every room is perfectly shaped or the perfect size. Windows and doors obviously do come into consideration. But I think if you can have that conversation with the client, getting that dedicated room, it just brings the room together much more cohesively, and their enjoyment is paramount, obviously, the end result. So for us, it's having a dedicated room is really exciting. I think it's getting it great. It's media rooms. We like media rooms, but I've got a media room. I haven't got a cinema room at home. So when we do a client cinema room, sitting down in that dedicated room is we love it. Calibrating it and get it all set up, and seeing their picture on their look on their face is.
It's that special place. It's like, I've clients who've got fortunate have got both. We've put a good system in there, sort of like family room. So they might be running a 7.2.2, so 7 speakers around them, 2 speakers in the ceiling, 2 subwoofers, and it sounds really good. But then they go downstairs and open the room into this acoustically treated space, and it just is that so much of a more of a wow factor. And it is that place where upstairs they could watch, they could watch Strictly, or they could watch everyday TV, and they could watch everything upstairs. I mean, a lot of my clients have got video matrix, so they could put the Kaleidescape upstairs, so they could sit down and watch movies with the grandkids. But then, I'm really excited because Final Reckoning landed on my Kaleidescape this morning.
Yes, wow,
Mission Impossible.
Yeah.
So it's almost like I nearly cancelled today just so I could stay at home and watch that. But then to go downstairs and sit and watch that in, like as we spoke to David just a minute ago, 32 or 64 channels via Trinov in, an 8x5 pure cinema, engineered just for you. That's a dedicated cinema.
It's a dedicated cinema, as you say, with the Trinov, but again, it's having the source, the correct source, because the Trinov, while being wonderful, having a normal streaming Apple TV or Amazon Fire Stick can only output what's been sent to it. So having a dedicated source like Kaleidescape or a physical media makes any system or any room sound so much better. Even you go with a normal entry or AV amp, if you have a physical media player, that would sound much better, or Kaleidescape much better than any streaming Apple TV or.
Well, I was talking to Kaleidescape the other day actually, and I'm not sure if we mentioned it in our podcast, which we talked about streaming, different platforms, was the fact of the entry level Kaleidescape, the 2K player, obviously has the audio of the 4K player. So
Yes.
actually, I've cancelled my subscription to UHD with Sky. They still charge you for HD.
I know, shocking. So if you want UHD, you have to pay for HD to get UHD.
But then you still have to pay for UHD.
Yeah.
You have to pay for HD and UHD.
How's that fair?
But
in this day and age, in 2025.
But actually, for a media room, putting a 2K Kaleidescape in on a 4K TV, you're still going to get a cracking picture, but you're also going to get that sound that is not, what was it, sort of like 1/5 of the sound quality on an Apple TV via something like Netflix. Compared to the full fat audio you're going to get on a Kaleidescape.
It's a huge difference. So if you've got a nice big TV, you want a nice big sound as well. So that's being compressed, which is what you get with Amazon or Netflix. It's always compressed compared to Kaleidescape or a physical media disc. But yeah, that's going to make a massive difference.
So we're not saying there's anything wrong with a media room. We're just saying a media room is very much a lifestyle room. It's very much.
If you're lucky enough to have both, then great. I assume your clients would use the media room a lot more, and then the cinema room as a special occasion for films and sporting events. But any media room, it being multi-purpose, would always be compromised at some sort. But hey, it looks good, it sounds good, you're happy, the client's happy, fantastic.
And obviously in a media room, we have solutions like invisible speakers, where we might not necessarily use those in the cinema room behind fabric, but obviously in a media room, we did one in Faversham, which that is 16 channels, I think, all with Amina invisible speakers in the wall. sounds phenomenal.
Minimalistic.
Yeah, and all you
Client's
see is
happy.
a 77-inch LG TV on the wall.
And it was like looking around going, where's this sound coming from? And that, again, that's the wow factor. So you are getting a wow factor, but a different kind of wow factor. Because they're like, that sound coming to the TV? Don't be silly. It's properly set up, properly calibrated. The speakers are hidden. If you go in a cinema room, your assumption is that's going to sound great.
And obviously, in a media room now, especially, we're coming into the age of the 110-inch Hisense. Obviously, Sony showed off some of their modular TVs at our friends at AWE recently, and here at Pulse. So actually, that big modular TV in your lounge. I mean, a friend of Simon's, he's got a 100-inch Sony with a really good KEF system in his lounge. Sounds phenomenal, but it's based around a 100-inch Sony TV.
It's not as cinematic, in my personal opinion, a TV, but hey, a 98-inch, 110-inch TV is still pretty big, but to have a more cinematic experience. So we're seeing a client later this week who wants a new TV and then got rid of their projector because they weren't happy with it. But we're thinking about having a short throw projector, something different. So you still get that big image, so you don't need a black...
Like one of those.
Like one of those. So you don't need a black screen on your wall. So a 98-inch TV in a media system looks pretty ugly, to be honest. It's not great. That's why, again, we did that Samsung picture frame TV, because that blended into the decor of the client's property really, really well. So a short throw projector, if you've got nothing else on the wall and all you've got is a box there, or obviously it can go in a cabinet hidden away, it doesn't have to be sitting there on the side, that can be hidden away, and then you turn it on, you get a nice big image. Okay, I didn't think about that, rather than having the projector right at the back of the room and somebody walks in front of it. So that's, if it's a multi-purpose room, then that's probably not viable. So yeah, we'll see how that goes.
Well, no, our friend Owen Maddock did actually won a CEDIA award for it, which was a cabinet with a TV and a drop-down screen and speakers. But that projector was at the back of the room, up in the quarter coffered ceiling. But obviously now with people like Darren at Cinema Lux, we could take something like the Epson we've got here, have a nice bit of cabinetry with that sunk with inside the cabinetry, and then have a TV, and then here you have a drop-down screen behind the pelmet here.
Yep.
So it's sort of that sort of thing together with a nice, speaker system would blend in really nicely in a media room, where you potentially wouldn't use that in a cinema room, but it's taking elements from the cinema room.
And it's bespoke in a different kind of way. So it's not your dedicated room; it's a dedicated media room, as you curve a bespoke dedicated media room.
I'm going to go with my Ask AI just to wrap this up.
That was good last week. We enjoed that.
Yeah, I thought it was really good. And actually, annoyingly, I came up with this feature because I wanted to show the incompetence of AI. And I'm certainly learning that it actually has an incompetence. Actually, I got to say, I was listening to a Diary of the CEO podcast on the way up here, Stephen Bartlett, and he was talking to, I'm going to murder his name, Mo Gawat, who used to be like one of the heads at Google, and they were talking about AI, and it really, really interesting. I think it came out on like the 4th of August. So go back and listen to it. I recommend it because that was talking about AI and how it's going to affect our lives. And I saw on the news the other day that there was 2 things, I can't think what it was now. There was 2, for want of a better word, diseases or symptoms that apparently AI has already done research into with the scientists to find a potential cure for.
Wow. Hope so.
And, it's brilliant. But anyway, so the definition, when I asked AI, what is the difference between a cinema room and a media room? Definition, dedicated cinema, a purpose-built enclosed room designed purely for watching films, not necessarily, often replacing the experience of a commercial theatre, 100%.
You like that?
No other purpose, no compromise. I think that's completely correct.
A good tagline. No other purpose, no compromises.
Yeah.
I like that.
So although I don't necessarily agree with the fact that they're purely for cinema, for watching films, because there is, I know if a lot of my clients watch a lot of football. I mean, admittedly, they're a Spurs fan. Hello, Ben, if you're watching.
Premier League has started again, so we're all excited with that.
And we won. Just.
It's a miracle.
But, so I think that, no other purpose, no compromises. I think that sums it up beautifully. Media room, a multi-purpose entertainment space, often a living room, family room, or open plan area where movies, TV, gaming, music, and socialising all happen. I think that's pretty perfectly
sums it up perfectly.
I think you're going to get some slogans out of this, aren't you? So design goals, he breaks it down to just breaks it down to design goals, which I thought was quite good. So Design goals. Primary goal: dedicated cinema, maximum immersion and performance. Tick. Media room flexibility and integration with lifestyle. Tick. Room use: 100% films, gaming, and TV for a dedicated cinema room. Sort of flipped on its head there.
Yeah.
Media room, multi-use, music, sports, casual viewing, etc. Look and feel: dark, acoustically treated theatre-like room for a cinema room, and then stylish blends in with home decor for media room.
AI is definitely American.
Yeah, oh yeah, definitely. Yeah,
Have that theatre.
yeah. I mean, there's a lot of Z's in here.
Yeah.
Picture and sound display, usually a large projector which is generally acoustically transparent. In a media room, projector or large TV. Yeah. Sound, high-end surround, immersive Dolby Atmos, DTX or Auro 3D for a dedicated cinema. Media room, good sound, but often compromised by room layout. Yeah, I agree with that a bit. I mean, yeah, you can put Atmos, DTSX, and Auro into a lounge. But yeah, I've had many projects where it's compromised.
Yeah,
You know,
but you've got
doors
the
and
sound
windows
bar
and all that.
option as well, haven't you? So
Yeah.
it's always an opportunity to put something like that in those kind of rooms.
And then a fully controlled acoustics with treatment, limited control due to open spaces. Again, like in here, we have reflective walls, which we would probably have in a media room, but we could use panels like these as acoustic treatment in a media room. Environmental lighting, dedicated cinema, blackout lighting control, dark color schemes to minimize reflections. That one I was quite impressed with. Cinema seated layout, media room often has windows with ambient light, more relaxed seating, sofas, seasonal or sectional.
I like the way it's mentioned reflection though. That's
Yeah.
quite an interesting, because not many people understand the reflections and bass traps and everything like that in a room. So for it to kind of touch on that.
Well, also, I had a conversation with the client in Beckenham the other day about he wanted to put, so where we've got like meter fabric panels, then we've got a wooden section. He wanted to have bronze down either side of it.
Very bespoke.
And it would be brilliant, and Owen, you're going to be proud of me for saying this, but as our friend Owen Maddock would say, is the problem is if you've got reflective lighting or reflective material a meter or so away from the screen, it's going to take you out of the experience because all you're going to see is the ambient light reflection from the projector on that beading.
It never looks good. It's, and again, a massive compromise.
Yeah.
And if the client is happy with that compromise, but you need to make them aware of reflections of light, sound, and everything else.
And I said to him, I said, look, you do realise this. And he's like, oh. And I said, what I would do is fabric wrap up to the edge of the wood. That way you're not getting wood, brass. Sorry, Roddy, it was your brass stuff I'm not selling. Wood, brass, fabric. So you're not getting three different textures, but you also lose the reflection. Which he then said, well, that means it's going to be cheaper. And I went, not necessarily, because now I've got to wrap the edges of all the fabric tracking because Roddy's metal lovely covers the edge of the seam.
Yes.
Now it doesn't. So I've got to sit down for about a week and wrap all those
Probably
edges.
more hard work for you, to be fair. So
It is.
In theory, it should be more money.
I think it's going to look better, and obviously you don't get those reflections. And then lastly, for the media room, environmental lighting. Lighting are designed for both everyday use and viewing. So I think that's right. Last but not least, typical client profile. I haven't read this, but it's be interesting. Dedicated rooms, cinema files, luxury homeowners, clients wanting the real deal theatre, definitely American, spelled the right way as well, experience. Family rooms, families, open plan houses, people wanting everyday usability and the occasional big movie night experience. It pretty much sums it up.
Yeah, it does sum it up, and it is all very true. But again, it's AI is gonna take over the world.
I think that this is proving that I've used it a bit recently. I've actually started using it quite often as a aid. So if I've written something, I will then put it through like ChatGPT. I've actually started subscribing to ChatGPT. I'll put it through ChatGPT and just say, look, can you rewrite this for me? And actually, I will write something like a bio, and I'll say, can you rewrite this for LinkedIn? Can you rewrite this for YouTube? Can you rewrite this for Instagram? But then say, I've only got this amount of words in an Instagram profile, for instance. Can you rewrite this for an Instagram profile? And
It is clever. So let me simplify that for you and make it more easily to understand. And you're like, yes, that's what I want to say. Thanks very much.
Well, my daughters, I've literally just let our daughter have her own YouTube channel because
Oh, wow.
she sings and she dances, and well, she's nearly 15, but she sings and she dances, and we've not had any social media until I said till 15, which is slightly before 15. But I said to her, look, you need to write your profile because I'm very big at like, okay, look, I'll let you have YouTube. We'll get your Instagram and TikTok so you've got the same handle. So like on most platforms, if not all of them, I am at Mr. Stuart Burgess. So I said, you want your channel name on your YouTube channel to be the same name on your Instagram and the same name on everything. So there's no confusion. And I said, right, so we went on Canva and we made an image for her for a headline image, on there. And I said, right, let's use ChatGPT. So put your name in, my name, what you do, what your joys and your habits and your passions are, and then go, write this for a YouTube profile. And we wrote it. And I just sat there and looked at it and went, that's perfect. And my daughter was like, I could do better than that. And I went, really? You're just saying that? Because that's just taking your job.
Yeah.
But,
you're fired.
but I do think, I think this is proving actually something we thought might be a laugh and a joke is it's actually getting it bloody right.
It is getting it spot on. That's for sure. But either a media room or cinema room is fantastic for any home or property. So
yeah, and I think you could take elements from things like RP22 into both rooms, and I think we could a HCA member and a senior member, an integrator could design you a phenomenal space which you're going to love, regardless of whether it is a dedicated room if you're fortunate enough to have that space, let alone budget, or just a room that is utilising. I mean, at home, at the moment I've got a 5.1.2 system in my lounge. Works perfectly for me. Our bedroom's above us, so I can't have it on too loud at night. Otherwise, I get a bang on the floor. Yes, do I miss my showroom? Yeah, of course I do. That was
it's not quite the same, is it?
That was 16 channels.
Yeah.
That was brilliant. That was on a 4-meter wide scope screen. One day I will potentially do it. I'm actually thinking about doing a YouTube series about building it. Stay tuned. But I think whichever way you go, I think a HCA member can help you, and there's definitely elements that you can take from each and revert to both. It's just designed for you and your space and your enjoyment.
Yeah, no, it's perfect. But we need to head off and start practicing and
get
for
ready
the London to Brighton bike ride. Which
get
is
ready for this London to Brighton bike
September
ride.
the 14th. We have our shirts now, so the shirts are on, and it all feels a little bit real. There's only a month to go, so I'm not sure we're going to put a link underneath to if you could sponsor us, just a couple of pennies. That would be fantastic.
Yeah, I'll put a link here, and then I'll put up the photograph that we just took with myself, you, David Merowitz from Trinov, outside with our bike. Hopefully I'll shed a few more pounds since then. But no, that's going to be great. That's for Together for Cinema, raising money for putting these entertainment spaces in children's hospices around the country.
A very worthwhile cause. So that's why there's 50 of us doing it. So two runners and 48 cyclists. And yeah, lots of training still to do, but only a month to go. So
I'm starting to realise I've recorded all these podcasts with people, and trying to put one up every other Tuesday means that I've not got enough Tuesdays to get them all up before Christmas. And I'm looking at it going like, we recorded this 3 months ago and it's still not up yet.
I can't believe you said the C word.
Yeah.
I refused to say it earlier.
I know, you say that. I saw a sign the other day, which was, it was Bedgebury down the A21, which is a forestry place. Enjoy Bedgebury at Christmas time. And I swear that was out in July. And even the other day, I saw on Sky a program, Inside the Ambulance at Christmas. And we are, as of recording, the 19th of August.
We want a cinema system or media room before Christmas. Get your orders in now.
Yeah, before the end of September, please.
Yes, please.
Not November.
No.
Certainly not December.
Definitely not.
Because I can guarantee now you ain't going to get it.
September is your prime slot.
Awesome. Well, look, have a good week.
I thought you were going to say Christmas then.
Have a good Christmas.
Say Christmas.
Have a good Christmas. I'll see you in the new year. I told you I've got a lot of podcasts.
Yeah, I've got a lot of podcasts.
But yeah, no, obviously we'll get another one up, hopefully in a few weeks after, about 4 weeks after this one. We need to have a word with some other people to go and record somewhere from there, because I've got no further with my studio. I've been too busy.
Too busy.
Too busy.
But look forward to it. And as I say, we've got the bike ride and some new products coming up in September. So we'll liaise them.
Awesome. Excellent, Simon. Well, look, I'll let you go because you've got to go off and be a doted dad.
Indeed. Thanks so much.
I've got to go and do a bike ride. So thank you very much, and we'll see you on the next one.
See you on the next one. Thanks
Cheers,
a lot.
guys. Thank you.
Cheers,
Bye.
guys.